Hey everyone, it's Erica. I'm here to show you a short little sequence of yoga that you can do on a chair. We're doing some chair yoga today, and a lot of the movements we're going to do are actually perfect for counteracting the effects of sitting in a chair all day. So whether you're in your chair at work, seated at work throughout the day, or if you're just spending too much time on the computer at home, whatever you're doing that you're in your chair too much, these are some movements that you can do to help relieve, especially into the hips, into the back, sitting in a chair so much. So we're going to start with seated far forward on the chair, as far forward as you can to bring as much of the legs off the chair as you can, so just sitting on the hips. Bring your hands just underneath the edge of the chair so you can hold on, have a little bit of stability. Bring your left leg out so that the heel is directly below the knee, and then take your right leg back, tuck the toes under, and then push your toes straight down, reach your knee down towards the floor, and make the movement without actually moving, as if you're going to kick your leg or slide your foot forward. So the toes are as far back as they can reach, tucked under. You're pressing them straight down, and then isometrically moving the toes forward. That should send your heel back. Reach your knee down. Hold on to the edge of the chair so you can lengthen up. Tuck the chin slightly, lengthen into the back of the neck. See if you can reach your right knee down again. Slide that foot forward without actually moving it. Press the heel back towards the wall behind you. And then release that. Keep the leg in that same position. Keep the foot flexed as you bring the leg up. Turn the knee out. Keep your foot really strongly flexed here. Bring your right hand to the inside edge of your right knee and really gently press it down towards the floor. This will start to rotate this thigh open, so the inner thigh that's facing the ceiling right now is going to start to move out to the side wall to the right. Make sure that foot stays flexed to keep the knee joint happy. If that's enough, you can stay there, or you can lengthen through your spine. Look forward, not looking down, looking forward, taking your heart forward to hinge into the hips and start to come forward a little bit. And that'll deepen the stretch in that outer thigh. Take your shoulders back away from the ears and lift them up away from the floor. See if you can reach your heart forward to the wall in front of you. Take one more breath here. And then inhale nice and gently. No pressure on the leg as you come up here. Bring that foot down. Move it over to the other side so the hands come underneath the edges of the chair. Right foot stays so the heel's right below the knee. Left foot comes back. Tucking the toes, pressing the toes down, reaching your left thigh straight down to the ground, trying to bring the knee right down to touch. I have short legs. I'm a short person. If you have long legs, your knee might actually touch, in which case you want to have a little bit more height. And then the heel of that left foot is reaching back towards the wall behind you as the toes are isometrically drawing forward. Shoulders stay relaxed, moving to the back wall, tucking the chin slightly, lengthening through the back of the neck. See if you can reach your left knee down a little bit more. Bring the toes forward, the heel back a little bit more. Breathe a little more steadily. And then keep the foot and the leg just as they are, but hinge at the hip to bring the knee up. Turn it out. Keep the left foot flexed. Bring your hand to the inner left knee and gently press it down towards the earth, rotating that left thigh open and breathing. See if you can lengthen a little more through the spine. And either staying here, or if you want to come forward a little bit, bringing the chest forward, not thinking about coming down, but coming forward. And then trying to hinge right at the hips, so that the hips are what are moving rather than the low back. Take a breath here. One more breath. See if you can slide your shoulders away from your ears, back towards your hips. See if you can bring the pelvis a little further forward. And then with your next inhale, nice and gently coming back upright, using your hand on the outer knee to bring that knee back to its own side. And then we're going to stand up, come to the side of the chair. Bring whatever side you're standing on, whichever hand is closer to the back of the chair, bring that to hold on for stability. Bring your right foot up. Make sure the knee is right over the ankle. It doesn't end up back here or way further forward here, but is right above the ankle. And then take hold of the front of the chair. Step your right foot back. And then start to bend into that back knee to go a little deeper into the quadricep. Try to press the back heel away, the back of the thigh back towards the wall behind you. Your hands can come to the front thigh, the bent leg, or you can keep a hand on the back of the chair. If you're really wobbly for balance here, just bring this back leg out a little further to widen the base of the width of your stance. See if you can sink your hips a little bit more. Check in again with that knee. Make sure it's still over the ankle. And then try to pull the pelvis away from the front thigh. Again, relaxing the shoulders, lengthening through the back of the neck. Check that your hips are square, that this back leg isn't opening up in the hip to the side. Keeping the hips square. See if you can straighten that back leg a little bit more. And then bring your hands to your hips. Press both legs straight to bring the front foot, the toes away from the chair. Pull your pinky toe especially back towards your shin to really engage all the shin muscles. See if you can lengthen through your spine. If this is enough of a stretch, you can stay here. If you want to go a little bit deeper, keeping this front leg straight, so pressing the back of the thigh towards the floor. Use your hands on your hips to help tilt your pelvis forward so that you're really moving from the pelvis rather than the low back. Again, keeping the heart reaching forward, the gaze forward, not down, so you don't round through the upper back. Lengthen through the spine. Help that pelvis tilt forward. Now with this upper leg, I have my left leg up on the chair here. I'm going to take the left hip back slightly, the right hip forward slightly to bring the hips square. You can even use your hand, place it on your sacrum and slide it forward to help the pelvis tilt, not the low back. Take the shoulders back, maybe even take the elbows back. Take one more breath here, see if you can lengthen your heart forward. And then inhale back upright. We're going to repeat those two, so bend into the knee, bring the hands to the chair or to your front knee. Press back through the right heel to lengthen that right leg. Try to take the low abdomen and the front of the pelvis away from this front thigh. Relax the shoulders. Relax the breath. With your next inhale, straighten both legs. Let that front foot come onto the heel. Press the heel down into the earth and isometrically draw it back towards you, so without actually moving. And you might feel that move the left hip back, the right hip forward. Using your hands on your hips to tilt your hips forward, not hinging at the low back. Pull your heart forward, bring your gaze forward, shoulders reach back. Make sure this front leg is nice and straight, the front foot is flexed. One more breath here. And then with your next inhale, come back up to standing. Turn so that the feet come pointing out. You might bring your feet closer together. We're going to do a squat on the chair, so get into the inner thighs. You want your feet to be pointing the same direction as the thigh bones. If the thigh bone is pointing in one direction and the foot is pointing in the other direction, then you end up torquing through the knee, which you don't want. So just have a look, make sure those toes, the feet are pointing in the same direction as the thighs, and then start to bend into the knees. So you might not move too far down. This might be enough of a stretch, or if you want to go a little further, you can start to fold forward. Again, heart reaches forward, bending at the hips, not at the low back. And then you can even bring your forearms to the thighs, just below the knees, not pushing on the knees. Pressing those thighs wide. If you have a yoga block, you can use a yoga block here, or you can use the chair for support. Trying to bring both of the knees back towards the wall behind you. And again, lengthening the heart forward, not rounding through the upper back. So if you have to round to get down here, just come up a little bit so that you're not rounding through the spine. See if you can lengthen your spine out of your pelvis. Press those knees wide. Sink the hips a little bit. Let the weight be heavy. Take the groins back towards the wall behind you. Try to take the shoulders away from the ears. One more breath here. And then with the next inhale, coming nice and slowly up to standing. We'll do that on the other side. I'm going to move my chair in a little bit so that I can stay facing you. Bring that right leg up. For me, it's my right leg. You might be on the other side. Make sure the feet are pointing in the same direction as the thighs, as the knees bend. And then either staying upright or folding a little bit forward, maybe taking your hands eventually to the floor, to your block, to your chair, wherever it feels comfortable, but also finding your edge. And then either just staying like this, pushing into the big toe mounds to press the knees wide, or using your forearms on the thigh bones to press the knees wide. You can get a bit more leverage when you use your arms here. You can use your hands also for some gentle pressure. Just make sure you're not pressing on the inside of the knee, but you're above. One more breath here. And then with your next inhale, push your feet into the ground. Let that give you the strength to come upright to standing. Then we're going to bring our chair to the edge of the mat. You want to make sure that at least the front feet are still on the mat. You can have the whole thing on the mat if you want. Bring your hands, if you can, have them flat. If that's comfortable for you, you'll want your hands flat. If that's a bit too wobbly, you can hold on for a bit more stability on the edges of the chair. Then step yourself back so that you come into a plank position. So you want your shoulders to be over your wrists, your arms are nice and straight, and your hips are in line from your heels, hips to shoulders. Take the shoulders away from the ears, push the chair away with the hands, and then broaden through the collarbones. And then keep the hands and the feet right where they are, and push yourself back into a modified down dog. Just let the head hang. Try not to let the ribs fall towards the earth, but keep the back nice and flat and long, no arching through the low back. Let the head just dangle. And bring your attention to your hands. See if you can push into the index finger mounds and the thumb mounds onto your mat. Nice stretch through the shoulders and the upper back here. And then inhale, come forward into plank again. So the heels lift, the shoulders come right over the wrists, tailbone tucks, and then look forward so that you can straighten your upper back. Take the shoulders down away from the ears and up away from the chair. Keep looking forward. Bring your heart forward, bring your hips forward and then down, coming into an upward dog or a cobra pose here. Take the shoulders back towards the back wall. See how much you can pull your heart forward. Even bend your elbows a little bit to take them back again. You can see I'm getting a lot of space here. My tendency is to have the shoulders forward and up, so I'm always exploring how far I can take the shoulders back, 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 and then you can get deeper into the back bend. Make sure you're not taking any of the crunching into the low back, so lengthen your low back, take your tailbone down towards your knees, so you can pull your heart forward again, take your shoulders back, and then press back to that modified down dog. Take a breath here. Let the head just hang, be nice and heavy. Let the shoulders be heavy. Keep the ribs lifting, keeping the low back long. And then inhale forward to plank pose. Take a breath here. Even here, take the shoulders away from the ears. And then look forward, pull your heart forward, let your hips come down and forward. Take your shoulders back, back, back. And as you pull your shoulders back, your chest, your heart will reach forward. And you'll come deeper into the back bend. Take the tailbone down towards the knees, lengthen the low back. And then exhale, push back to down dog, let the head hang. So this is a really great modification if you find the movement, if you just don't have the mobility or the strength yet for sun salutations, this is a really great way to practice at home. The chair gives you lots of support. It takes some of the distance out of it and makes the floor, brings the floor up to you rather than you having to come down to the floor. So we'll go through this 2 more times. Coming forward with the inhale to plank. Holding it here if you can. Push the chair away so the arms get nice and long. Look forward to the wall in front of you. Take your shoulders to the wall behind you. And then let the hips come forward and down. The Shoulders move back as the heart reaches forward. See if you can push the chair away again. Take your shoulders back again. Lengthen the rib cage away from the pelvis. And then exhale, push back. Check in with the hands. Make sure the whole circumference of the palm is pushing down into the chair, especially the index knuckle mound. It tends to want to shy away from the chair. Inhale, come forward to plank. Coming up onto the toes, looking forward, taking the shoulders back to the wall behind you, pushing the chair away. And then letting the hips come down, forward, taking the shoulders back, back again, maybe back again, the heart forward and up, lengthening the ribs away from the pelvis. So you can take those shoulders back again, and then exhale, pushing back. Take a couple breaths here. Lift those little ribs up to the sky. Take the rib cage away from the pelvis. See if you can lengthen your hips towards the wall behind you. And then with your next inhale, looking forward, bring your knees down to the ground, coming onto the toes. Bring your elbows just a little bit onto the edge of your chair. Bring the hands together in prayer position. Elbows should be at shoulder distance, so they're not really wide and they're not too close. Just a nice distance. And then start to walk yourself back so that the head can come down. If your shoulders are really tight, you'll just rest your forehead on the edge of the front edge of the chair. And if you have a little bit more space, you can let your head come down below the height of the chair, the seat of the chair. And again, you want your low ribs lifting up towards the sky so you're not arching into the low back. You might need to adjust your knees. Here, let the head just be nice and heavy. The hands can stay so the fingers are pointing up to the sky, or you can start to bend the elbows, bring the thumbs towards the upper back. Try to dig your elbows into the seat as you draw your hips back to really lengthen through the tricep area of the arms. Take another couple of breaths here. And see if you can slow down your breath. And then with the next inhale, lift the arms. If your head is down, lifting it up, walking in again towards your chair. Come to standing. Turn to sit on your chair. Bring the hands back to the back of the seat. If you have space between the back of the chair and the seat of the chair, that's perfect. You can wrap your hands around the back edge of the chair. I can't do that right now, so I'm just going to hold the edge, trying to have my wrist creases as flush to the front, or as square to the front edge of the chair as I can. And then I'm just going to walk forward to come down to the floor. Now, if this is too much, you can sit on a yoga block or some books. You can elevate yourself up so that you don't have to come down quite as far. The tendency here is for the shoulders to round forward and to get a big hunch in the upper back. You want to resist that by lifting through the spine and then taking the shoulders back, so you're rotating the arms up to the sky. Your hips should be right under your shoulders. And you're breathing here. See if you can pull your shoulders back towards this chair behind you. Lengthen the back of the neck. Close your eyes. Breathe. Try to press the pinky edge of your hand into your chair. 2 more breaths here. And then slowly slide yourself forward, coming to cross-legged. And that's the end of our practice here. So you can either stay seated on the floor. If you're going to continue to practice, you can go from here, or if you want to come back up to your chair and do a little short shavasana seated in the chair with the palms facing up, you can do that. So I hope you enjoyed that practice. Enjoy it. It's nice and short and quick. You can do it every day. Maybe incorporate 1 or 2 of those into your daily activities, especially work day. And have a lovely day.